The first month of the NBA season is confusing. Stats get distorted by small sample sizes. Lingering injuries lead to slow starts. And a couple bad bounces can be the difference between a locker room full of optimism and a roster filled with paranoia. It's one big logjam that teaches us an annual lesson in patience and understanding. Well, most of us. Because there's a lucky few fan bases that don't have to taper their expectations. Instead of problem solving in the trade machine or ranting about thin rotations, they get to spend their time daydreaming about May before Christmas, as outlets everywhere feed the hype machine. Normally, we like to shift our focus to something outside of the spotlight and bring a little nuance to the shadows. But since we already discussed the teams fighting for relevance, it's time to highlight the guys enjoying the reward of recognition. After all, it's a new season with new stars and new contenders. If we can't appreciate the novel greatness in front of our eyes, then what are we watching the games for? You know, we thought about bearing the lead here and waiting until the end to talk about the gang of outlaws robbing people out on the Oklahoma plains. But then we realized it would be the least surprising reveal in the history of YouTube. The Thunder came into this season as obvious favorites. That's normal. The reigning champs usually get that honor. But this time, it was different. OKC didn't have a typical NBA championship roster last season. Their stars weren't a couple of 27-year-olds who had waited their turn. They were a bunch of kids running past everyone, clamping down on defense and ending games with so much energy it would bleed into their post-game interviews. We knew they were too young to start regressing, but also know that repeating is the hardest thing in sports. Add in the fact that Jalen Williams was going to miss the first few weeks of the season, and the idea of a good but slightly sluggish start didn't seem ridiculous. Instead, they've made every phrase about the pressure of defending a title sound stupid. Let's start with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Between the foul-baiting discourse and the almost mundane consistency he approaches the game with, it's pretty easy to entirely ignore his nightly 30 points. But guys, this isn't just great anymore. It's an all-time anomaly. We could talk about the 20-point game streaks, points per drive, or any other revealing number you can think of, but we really don't even need to. We're now at a point that every single time SGA pulls up, it's assumed the shot is going in. He's a flawless offensive maestro and a constant source of havoc defensively, and there wasn't an ounce of hyperbole in that sentence. Behind him, Chet Holmgren looks like he's taking the leap no one knew he could make. The same game-altering rim protector with an offensive arsenal that will demand an all-star selection. Then there's Cason Wallace, the man with the quickest hands since Muhammad Ali, Alex Caruso, the prototypical defensive game wrecker, and the list just keeps going. Isaiah Hartenstein, basketball savior, Aaron Wiggins. I mean, even Ousmane Deng looks good. We could probably write a 1-minute sonnet about every player on this roster. They're deep, unnecessarily talented, and shockingly mature. But there's only enough time to rant about one non-MVP. And after everything we've seen, there's only one name to pick. The pride of Belgium, AJ Mitchell. We're proud to say we've been on the AJ Mitchell agenda for a while, but we didn't even expect this. The former Gaucho legend isn't a steady backup point guard or a reliable spark plug. He's some kind of hyper-efficient game changer who might be scratching the surface of his potential. A ruggedly strong lefty with enough skill, feel, and burst to change the lives of 29 fan bases in the league. And they found him in the second round. He's the amazing offseason story the Thunder didn't need. And now the roster literally has no holes, with an all-star returning sometime in the near future. Yeah, so we're pretty much at a loss here. Sam Presti has a crystal ball, a working tarot card deck, and at least 5 scouts with access to a time machine. Congrats, OKC fans. Your team will be good forever because of an all-seeing warlock at the top of the organization. There's a question that can no longer be ignored. Is Nikola Jokic the best post player in the history of the game? Don't yell at us until you really think about it. He has the greatest touch of all time, and that's not even a point we're willing to argue. Then he's got the footwork of a classically trained ballerina, paired with the strength of a Balkan giant. And all of those rare gifts are tied together by the IQ to dismantle defenses with a quick glance over his shoulder. I mean, what players in NBA history can actually match that? He scored 55 points while only missing 5 shots, and it was a story for one day. What stat line could he even produce at this point that would surprise anyone? For our money, this is still the best player in basketball. Any team that Nikola Jokic plays for is a threat to win the whole thing, but this Nuggets team is isn't another patchwork rotational mess. It's probably the best group the Joker has played with since 2023. Jamal Murray is still the nationally underappreciated archer hitting bullseyes through porthole windows. Aaron Gordon is now permanently a great three-point shooter, on top of being one of the most versatile power forwards in the league. And Christian Brown remains an extremely athletic small forward with a non-stop motor. That on its own is the Western Conference team that pushed OKC to 7 games last year. And this year, the supporting cast around them is vastly improved. Guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Bruce Brown, and Jonas Valanciunas have been godsends. Polished basketball players with clearly defined skill sets who have experience playing a role on winning teams. And even better than that, their skill sets are fully compatible with the Nuggets' existing core. Maybe that doesn't sound like much to you, but ask a Denver fan about last year's bench. Even with their marquee addition, Cam Johnson, still finding his legs in that mountain air, the Nuggets have more options than they've had in years. It's a roster that looks great on paper, passes the eye test with flying colors, and then makes the advanced analytics fall in love. This is a team that gets good shots almost every trip down, plays a cohesive and functional brand of defense, and doesn't turn the ball over. They aren't the flashy new guys or the revolutionary upstarts, but they play good basketball with a capital G. We spent most of last season lamenting the extreme dysfunction of a front office that seemed to be caught up in a Shakespearean blood feud, and they still came one game away from beating the eventual champs. It's not just Jokic, his 3 friends, and an empty bench, and they don't need Russell Westbrook to reliably hit corner threes anymore. This year, the Nuggets could win the whole thing even if their Serbian savant can't make every shot he puts up, and we've seen him come pretty close to that in the past. The Knicks might have been the biggest wildcard coming into this season. Obviously, the roster is incredibly talented, and Jalen Brunson remains one of the best players in the league, but so much of their identity was built on Tom Thibodeau. The tight rotations, blue-collar defense, and brutally simplistic offense all came to define the new era of New York basketball. It was hard to imagine this group under any other coach, let alone one as different stylistically as Mike Brown. But so far, the transition has been close to seamless. Offensively, the Knicks look more fluid and democratic than they were last year. They're moving the ball better, getting their wings involved in dynamic actions, and still maintaining a steady diet of Jalen Brunson pick and rolls. On the other end, things are a bit weirder. New York does a great job of ending possessions. Any miss will likely be hauled in by either Mitchell Robinson or whichever Knick is closest to him. On top of that, they stay active in driving lanes, routinely stabbing over from help positions and lurking in the blind spots of post players. Unfortunately, that has come at the cost of giving up an unsustainable amount of open threes. Opponents are taking and making more long-range shots against New York than almost any team in the league. And when you watch the games, it becomes very clear that it's not a bad luck kind of thing. Their other issue is one that Knicks fans are used to and exhausted with, and that's depth. In spite of signing Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele and adding a coach who is significantly more willing to give his bench players regular minutes, the production from the second unit hasn't really been there yet. Now we expect that to work itself out. Both of those guys have proven to be productive players in the league, and hopefully a couple months of building chemistry will be enough for them to find their rhythm again. Beyond that, the starting lineup plus Mitchell Robinson has been nothing short of fantastic. Mikal Bridges is looking more and more like the guy we saw in Brooklyn. Cat is quickly adjusting to the new system, and OG is playing the best basketball of his career with a closer as cold-blooded and efficient as Brunson. This team will be an overwhelming challenge for anyone in the East. The only thing left for them is to shore up that perimeter. If they can nail that down, this should be the best Knicks team since Pat Riley was wearing Armani suits on the sideline. We could have played it safe here and gone with the Cleveland Cavs. Our love for Darius Garland is well documented, and Donovan Mitchell is still one of the most explosive superstars in the league. But we believe in the Detroit Pistons, and you should too. Last season, Detroit was the best story in the NBA, a playoff team that had built an exciting foundation 1 year after the worst season in franchise history. But let's be clear, the Pistons are not just a fun team to root for anymore. They're a blue-collar squad of heavyweight prize fighters, and it all starts with the cold-blooded engine at the center. Cade Cunningham officially broke out in 2025, so we can't call what he's doing now a surprise. But it's definitely not just more of the same. The 6'6" creator, who's come to personify the word poise, is navigating condensed lanes with all the effort that a breeze needs to avoid a tree. He has the sense of pace that award-winning conductors dream of, and a bag deep enough to find a bailout card in any situation imaginable. But it really isn't just Cade and them anymore. The supporting cast isn't faceless. It's developed, dangerous, and daunting. Jalen Duren is a monster, a throwback big man with the kind of strength we haven't seen since prime Dwight Howard, and a level of coordination that really doesn't make sense for his build. NBA teams today don't have the bulk required to defend against him, and he's got two similar bruisers backing him up in Isaiah Stewart and Paul Reed. That iron wall is defended by a couple of junkyard dogs who seem to get offended by their opponents crossing half court. Asar Thompson moves like an AI defender with the sliders turned all the way up, and Ron Holland plays with real resentment and passion on every possession. And by the way, they're both superhuman athletes. All of this makes them a potent threat in the Eastern Conference. But you know that kind of indescribable magic of destiny that teams seem to harness every once in a while? Detroit has that. They're finding people on the fringes of the roster that fit in perfectly to the ethos of the team. The vibes are higher in Motor City than they've been since Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton were in town. And if they keep this up, this relentless interior assault will be brutalizing rims deep into the postseason. But before anyone goes out and gets a preemptive tattoo, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Right now, we're trying to accurately predict who the best teams are before we've even approached the halfway mark of the season. And we're doing that in a league that's had 7 new champions in a row. We're living through an unprecedented level of parity, and no one has enough ball knowledge to see through this maelstrom of variables. If we didn't mention your team, feel free to sound off on us in the comments about how wrong we'll be. And if we did, don't take it as a championship guarantee. Besides, we don't keep coming back to basketball because we confirm what we already thought. Even now, after a full year of obsessing over stats and poring over film, we can't stop watching for the same reason as all of you. We have no idea what's going to happen next.